D?
Number 2 is B.
Agreed? Which means that number 1 must be D.
Yeah.
Now, the reason you have to know these equations of a line is because it's possible that your teacher could ask you for them at any time. And that's what they're doing here in 5 and 6. They're saying, okay, you need to write the equation of the line in this form, has to be this way. What do you think happens if you write it in the wrong form?
Points off, not
Probably no,
correct.
yeah, probably no credit. I mean, yeah. Okay, so slope-intercept form. Can you tell me what that is? What the equation of that is?
Y equals mx plus b
Very good.
plus or minus b.
So M is the slope, B is the y-intercept. Notice they're giving you those values. This is a straight substitution problem. There's the slope, there's the B value. So notice that you keep X and Y. Okay, your answer has to have an X and a Y in it.
Yeah.
Sometimes we need to say the obvious when we're teaching this, which is that your answer will have an X and a Y in it. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do number 7 next because it's more like number 5. And you've probably seen how I get into the habit of doing these in kind of the same type of problem, give you some repetition. I think that's a great way to learn. All right, so the line through 0, 4 and 2, 2 in slope intercept form. Always good to write the equation of the line. All right, now, do we know the slope? Did they say this is the slope?
No.
So often confused, but this is the slope formula. Y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. So another thing to put in your toolbox, your utility belt, if you prefer. When I say y2, y1, those subscripts refer to the ordered pairs here. It's x1 and y1. The one refers to the first ordered pair, x2, y2 for the second ordered pair. Will you calculate the slope for us, please?
Sure. -1.
So let me substitute 2 minus 4 over 2 minus 0, -2 over 2 is -1. Very good. So that goes in for m. You immediately put that in for m, minus 1x plus b. To find b, you need an x and a y. So you can actually use either of these ordered pairs. Any idea why you might use the first one instead of the second?
Because it's more simpler because the first one is, or the x in there is just 0.
Yeah, this actually is, the first point is the y-intercept. We'll see that in a moment here. It's 4 equals -1 times 0 plus b. -1 times 0 is 0. So b is equal to 4. So as a side note, 0 comma a number is the y-intercept always.
All right.
All right, so that so in terms of the final answer, that I didn't even get to that part. You have to put the number back in. This is your final answer here. Any questions on that?
No.
Okay. All right. So let's go back to number 6. This is the other type of line that you'll be looking at. You have to find. This one is in point slope form, which means it requires a point and a slope. Y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. So what you're going to do in this problem is you're going to replace m, x1, and y1. You're going to keep the x and the y.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, so that's just a pure definition. Now, did they give you the slope?
Yes.
They did. And did they give you a point?
Yes.
So that's your x1, that's your y1. It happens to be the same, which is nice. Usually they're different. So that it's just a pure substitution problem. Y minus 4 equals 2/3 x minus 4, like that. So go ahead and write that down and then stop.
All right.
The reason I had you stop here is that we're done. There's nothing more to do here. But a lot of times students are like, oh, there's something to do. Like, no, there's nothing to do here. This is totally done. And I want you to try to remember that when it's in this form, it is totally done when it's like this. All right. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. It looks kind of unfinished. I don't know if you're the kind of person that likes to pick things up, if there's something out of place, but this is totally done. We have to respect that that's what it is. All right, so number eight says again in point slope form, y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. You need a point and a slope. Do you have either of those in this problem?
We have we have the point.
We actually have 2 points. Yeah, that's good. But we don't have the slope. You remember the slope formula from earlier?
Y2 minus y1 and x2 minus x1.
Good. Will you calculate the slope for us, please?
Sure. I got 1/3.
All right. 2 minus a minus 1 over 8 minus a minus 1 is 3 over 9, which is 1/3. Very good. So that goes in there for m. That's good. Now, which point should you use? Which point makes more sense to use? I don't know. Give me your thoughts on that.
Um, -1, -1, because it's just easier to to find, I guess.
Okay, so we're going to call it x1 and y1. So here's how that looks. Y minus a -1 equals 1/3 x minus a -1. As you write this down, I want you to really focus in on the fact that that subtraction operator is always there, but sometimes you get this double negative situation. And
And it just stays like that,
well, we're
or
not done now. We have to deal with the signs. So math's full of exceptions, right? Uh, the if it's a double negative, yes, you have to simplify the signs. Right. Yes, that is your final answer. No. All right, so I'd like you to try number 10. 10 is like 6. So go ahead and work that one out and let me know your final answer whenever you've got it.
I have y plus 5 equals -8/5 in parentheses x minus 1.
Perfect. That is correct.
Yay.
Okay, we're going to go look at 9, and I'm going to call it 9A because I want us to do both possibilities. That way, when you see the other, you're not surprised. So this is 9. I'm going to call this 9A. All right. So the horizontal line. Okay, I'm going to draw a horizontal line. And I'm going to put it up here. I'm going to label 2 points on this line. 1, 2, and 3, 2. What is the same in both of those points?
The y,
The y value, yeah.
the, yeah.
So in a horizontal line, which is written as y equals a number. The way to read it, the way to remember it is that y is always that number. It doesn't matter where you are on the line, y is always that number. So in this case, the answer is y equals whatever the y value is here, which is 7. So this is kind of just off to the side. The horizontal line through that point is always the y value, because y is always that number.
Okay.
More definitions. I mean, I know. So this time I want to do the vertical line. Calling this 9b. Essentially the same language that I just used, except instead of y, it's x. So I'm gonna just kind of pick off the stuff here that is not correct. Replace it. For the vertical line through this point, this doesn't apply. Is always this. X equals a number. I know it says slope-intercept form. That's weird. It is what I just said, but the two takeaways you have to make is like you have to be able to quickly write what a vertical line is, x equals, and a horizontal line, y equals.
All right.
All right, is that okay before we flip over to the other side
Yep.
of the page?
Yeah.
Pretty exciting, I know. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's actually do 15, 16, 17, 18 first. 15, 16, 17 first. This will lead nicely back into the other grouping of questions.
All right.
Okay. All right, it says determine whether the lines are parallel, perpendicular, intersect, or coincide. I think I'm gonna have to look up that one. What do you think your teacher means by coincide? Well, I think I know what she means, but
Cool.
okay. I That's kind of an odd word here. Okay. To answer these questions, excuse me, we need the slope of each line. Can you tell me the slope of either of these lines?
Um, for the second one, it's -1 or minus just
Okay,
yeah.
I like that. But the first one's kind of the same idea.
Yeah, I guess just be one.
Good. Okay, so here are the possibilities when you have the slope. If they are the same, here are the two possibilities. They could be parallel, they could coincide. If they are different, they could be perpendicular or they could intersect. Which branch have we gone down, left or right here? Are these slopes the same or are they different?
They are different.
Okay, I agree. They are definitely not the same. Um, So they are different. All right. Now, how to decide if they're perpendicular or they just intersect. So the perpendicular is the one you're looking for here is to see, because it's like if it's not perpendicular, then they intersect. So you only have to know the rule for one. One way to do it is to take the product of the slopes to multiply them together. And if the product is -1, they are perpendicular. Did you hear about that in class? See that in class?
Yeah.
That's one way to do it. There's this whole like opposite reciprocal thing, which is true. It works really well, but it's a little bit when you have the slopes, it's almost easier just to take the product of them. Any questions on
No.
that? Okay, let's look at 16. Okay, give me the slope of the line on the left, please.
Um, 5/2.
5/2, good. Now, on the right, the problem with what's on the right is it's not in either of the forms where we can determine the slope. In short, it's not solved for y. Okay,
Yeah.
so to solve for y, we have to divide both sides or everything by 5. So it becomes -2/5 x -4/5, like that.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, now what is the slope of this one?
-2/5.
All right, now are these slopes the same?
No.
So that means these could be perpendicular or they intersect. Um, so let's take the product of these. What is the product of these two numbers, these two slopes?
Let's see.
So these would be perpendicular.
Uh, yeah.
So last one here, it's kind of in the same realm. We can tell the slope immediately of which one, the one on the left or the one on the right.
Uh, the one on the right.
Okay, what is its slope?
-1/2.
Good. All right, the one on the left is a problem because it's not solved for y. It's actually in standard form, which I haven't even talked about, but we need to solve for y. So to do that, let's subtract x from both sides. it's better to put that in front. So this becomes 2y equals minus x plus 6.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we still haven't solved for y because there's 2 in front. So you have to divide everything by 2. It's always good to write that 1 if you're not sure or need just a reminder that it's there.
They are the same.
Yeah, the slope here is the same. So here are the possibilities when they're the same. They're either parallel or they coincide. So the parallel is when they have different b values, y-intercept. So let's take a look here. What's the b value on this one on the right? It's 3. What's the b value of this one on the left?
3.
It's 3. So these coincide, which means that they are on top of each other. They're essentially the same line.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions on that before we go back to 11 and 12?
Nope.
All right. All right. So the instructions from 11 say, given the equation and the point P not on the line, find an equation of a line parallel and a line perpendicular to the line through point P. So there's two things you have to find. One is the parallel. The second one is the perpendicular. And what you have to extract from this equation is the slope. What is the slope?
3.
3. Okay. Now, when you read the instructions, does it specify whether you need to use point slope or slope intercept?
It is not. I
Not. So
guess.
you should choose the one that's better. Okay, so for the parallel line here, you have a slope and a point. Which equation uses a slope and point?
Um.
Well,
The y equals 3
well,
x.
remember the name tells you what it is. If you have a point and a slope, you should use point slope form,
Yeah.
which I know is not what you normally what you do, but it's preferred to do it in the one that matches up with the information you're given.
Maris, we're ordering McDonald's. What do you want?
Bro, I'm doing a lesson.
Well,
If you need to break away for a minute or two, please feel free to do that.
Okay, I'll be back in just a second and
Sure,
order a Happy Meal.
Sounds good. Can you get me one?
I'll get a Happy Meal, guys. You know, they're the usual. Yes. I return.
All right. I was trying to it's like if you want burger, drink, and a fry, you get a number one, right? You don't try to make it into something that it isn't. They give you have the slope and a point, use point slope form.
Okay.
Okay, so your point is 2, 3. That's your x1, your y1. Your m is 3. Could you give me the equation here, please?
Sure. Okay, y minus 7
Well, wait,
equals. Wait,
hang
hold
on.
on.
Where'd the 7 come from? We're using
Oh
this
wait,
point up.
hold on. Wait, hold on. Yeah. Y minus 3 equals 3 in parentheses x minus 1
Where did the
or
1
x
come from?
minus 2.
Okay, there we go. All right. Okay. Any questions, thoughts on that?
No.
Okay. So part B is the perpendicular. The answer is going to be exactly the same except for the slope. Exactly the same except for the slope. So we have to convert the slope here 3, which is really 3 over 1, to the perpendicular slope. And in your last year, or maybe in class today, you might have heard words like opposite reciprocal or flip negate. Any of that
Yeah.
sound? So depending on the words you like, you have to flip the fraction. And then if it's positive, it becomes negative. If it's negative, it becomes positive. This is your new slope. And you're done. Nothing else changes.
All right.
Any, well, maybe for this one here. Line, perpendicular line through point P. Okay. Just looking ahead here, I'm trying to see. Let's do 13. 13 is most similar to what we just did, and then we'll do the more complicated ones. I'm just trying to, I'm gonna read this one more time. It's like it's the same instructions. Oh, this one's just perpendicular. That's what it is. All right. So 13 just wants the perpendicular. All right. So, okay, what is the slope of this line that's given?
2.
2, or 2 over 1. Can you give me the perpendicular slope?
Uh, 1/2.
Anything else you'd like to add to that?
Negative
Yes.
1/2.
Feel like I'm ordering at a restaurant. You just order at the restaurant. Do your order. Uh, yes, good. Okay, so now you have a slope and a point. Which equation should you use when you have a slope and a point?
Point slope.
Yes. Can you tell me point slope form?
Uh, let's see, I wrote it down here. Like the form or it
Yes.
in the
Yeah.
form?
Give me the form. Yeah. That isn't
Okay. Y minus y1 equals m in parentheses x minus x1.
good. And you have an M, you have an X1 and a Y1. So go ahead and finish this one off for us, please.
All right. Okay, so y minus 4 equals negative 1/2 in parentheses x plus 1.
Good. Very good. Let's go back to 12. We might, we'll see. Might not finish 14. All right. So we kind of did one like this on the other side of the page. Could you solve this for Y? And just if you need a reference, um, I guess we didn't do that earlier. No, we did. We did it on 17, kind of 17.
All right.
All right, how are you doing on this?
I got Y minus 4 equals
Okay, did you move the 4x over first?
yeah, I did.
Okay, so you should have 3y equals minus 4x plus 8. Those don't combine. They're not like terms. And then you divide by
Divide.
3. So maybe you're not sure how to say it, or it didn't come out exactly right, but this is the solve for y equation.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. What is the slope of this?
Minus 4 over 3x.
Slope is a number. It never includes x.
Oh, right, right.
Never, ever, no exceptions. All right, so for the parallel line, we have a slope and a point 4 comma negative 2. Which equation of a line should you use?
Point slope.
Point slope. So it's going to look like this. Y minus minus 2 equals minus 4/3 x minus 4. You do simplify the double negatives. So this is your final answer. For the perpendicular line, it's the exact same equation, except you have a different slope. So I'll let you get caught up there, and we'll maybe you can tell me the slope.
All right. Would it be 3 over negative 4?
Then you negate it.
Oh, okay.
All right, so that is going to do it for us for today. You got one more problem there to look at on your own, but